can I really follow this life? Because things I thought I'd changed years ago re-emerge. And this means that I think we really need a lot of wisdom, don't we? How to manage the process of self-transformation. We have the aim to become pure. But on this journey, you're just traveling happily and suddenly something will come out in my nature. I remember Sister Genti telling us, that she'd been 6 years in Guyana and all this irritation, this anger came out in the form of irritation. And she was saying, I'd never been like that even before Gyan. And so the soul then thinks, why? I've been a Brahmin for so many years and these feelings are coming, or these. And so self-doubt kicks in about, can I really move forward? Can I really, really change? And this is where I think such a wisdom is needed to how to manage the process of change. And that's why when everyone was sitting on the stage last night, just being there, they've been through a lot. And I find that when souls travel this life for many years, such a sweet vibration comes. It's like a spiritual maturity. Because, we haven't really known what to do with deep sanskaras. Sometimes we would suppress them. Sometimes we deny them to ourselves, Sometimes we just avoid them. We feel that, I just design my life to avoid people and situations that make me feel uncomfortable. There's so many ways, but really, ultimately, I have to face them and change them. And this is why when souls go through that and they come into this really sweet vibration, and then there's a maturity. And that maturity, when a group in the family has it, influences us all. And to me, that maturity is just understanding that I'm Baba's child, and as I travel, challenges are going to come. But I'll take them in my stride. I will deal with them. I will have the power to face. And a part of that is being really honest with myself. Absolutely honest with myself. And for some years ago, I had this thing for myself, for the scenes of drama to be a detached observer. How important is that? For all souls, a benevolent observer. Watch the behavior, the actions with benevolence, but for the self, an honest observer. Can I see myself objectively without feeling bad about my weakness or even in denial about my weakness, but I can really see what it is I need to change and not overreact to myself. I'm on this wonderful process to become a pure soul. So just really seeing everyone last night, I just felt so much love and regard. It's not a small thing to be with Baba for all of that time. When I even was 10 years in Guyana, there was a few of us in foreign countries, and we sat in front of Baba, and Baba said, just the fact you're sitting here, Baba knows you're strong souls. Because he knows what we have to face. Baba knows we have to face a lot. So today, I thought, in a lot of this weekend, we've been exploring the journey of self-respect, this incredible journey we're all on, of step by step taking back my self-value so nothing shakes me. And what's today's Murli about? Self-respect. And often I sort of feel it's perfect. It's like we're in tune with Baba, isn't it, when we have this topic. So the essence of today: be an embodiment of the experience of self-respect in all four subjects and use the authority of your experience. Today, Bapdada, the creator of the Brahman world, is seeing his Brahman world everywhere. Each Brahman is a special soul in the whole Brahman world. You are one out of multi-millions because... Why are we one out of multi-millions? Because you have recognized the Father who has come in an ordinary body. Bapdada is giving love from his heart to you children who have merged him in your hearts. Each of you children is experiencing yourself to be loved by such a Father and experiencing the Father to be merged in your heart. For the Father, every child is extremely lovely and loved by all. Have you ever heard an Avyak Murli where Baba doesn't start about how much he loves the children? Every Murli, but in different ways. All of you children have issued a challenge to all souls that you are those who have a yogi life, that you are not those who just have yoga, but you are those who have a yogi life. A life is not just for 2 to 4 hours. A life is for all time. So while walking and moving around and doing everything, you are constant yogis who have a yogi life. Whether you are sitting in yoga or doing any other work, you are, what was last week's theme? Karma yogis. The aim of your lives is to be constant yogis. Do you experience your yogi life to be a natural life? Bapdada is seeing the sparkling fortune on the forehead of each child. What is he seeing? Each child of mine has self-respect and is a self-sovereign, a master of the self. Why? Where there is self-respect, what cannot be there when there's genuine self-respect? What won't be present? Where there is self-respect, there cannot be body consciousness. From the beginning to the end until now, Bapdada has given every child different types of self-respect. If you were to remember your self-respect now and continue to turn the beads of each point of self-respect, you would become an embodiment of many types of self-respect and become absorbed in that self-respect. However, even now, Bapdada doesn't like one thing about the children. It's the same old thing. What doesn't he like? Even God doesn't like something. You know, Pratibha Ben was saying when we say sometimes, once I met Baba and he asked me a question. He said, I can't even remember what he asked me. And silly me, I said, sometimes. Baba spoke for 5 minutes, not sometimes. I learned a big lesson that night. Even once, in the early days, sometimes we'd have chit-chat with Baba, some of the instruments, and we could ask questions. And Baba had been chatting, then he said, any questions? And no one asked anything, so I just thought, oh, well, should keep, so I just put up my hand. I said, and I was sitting just over here, I said, Baba, what sort of service should we be doing now? And Baba sort of looked at me and he said, I've already told you. Gulp. And then he just said, in foreign countries, just create a powerful atmosphere. Baba said, that's the service in foreign countries. Just create a powerful spiritual atmosphere. So Baba's saying, Baba doesn't like one thing about the children. Do you know what that is? When some children say that sometimes they have to labor to stabilize themselves in their self-respect, that they want to do this, but it sometimes takes them effort. The Almighty Authority Father, listen to these words, cannot bear to see the effort of the children, because where there is love, there is no labor. And when you turn that round, it's interesting. If I'm battling a bit, laboring, it's showing me that actually I need to develop even deeper love. Where there is labor, there is a lack of love. Today at Amrit Vela, Bapdada toured around all the Brahmins everywhere in this land and abroad, and what did he see? Some children were sitting in their self-respect. They were thinking that they were seated on Bapdada's heart throne. They were thinking this. They were making effort to stabilize themselves in their self-respect. But what was the weakness that Baba saw? They remembered the self-respect. They were thinking about it. But the weakness that was seen was in being an embodiment of self-respect, in being an image of experience, and in being an embodiment of the authority of that experience. So the thought of self-respect is there, but it's not imbibed, it's not practiced, it's not become the embodiment. There are many authorities, but the greatest authority is the authority of experience, and the Almighty Authority has given you the experience of self-respect. So they were making effort, but they did not become embodiments of experience. Bapdada saw that while children sit, they even think about this, but only some are the embodiments of experience. In that experience, not even the slightest body consciousness of any type can pull you to itself when I'm the embodiment of experience. So to become an embodiment of experience, to become lost in the experience of being a karma yogi while acting, is now a lot more essential. Stabilize yourself in that form. In every situation, in every subject, become an embodiment of experience. In other words, feel the title of self-respect, not just chant it like a mantra in the mind. Whether it is knowledge, yoga, dharana, or service, become an embodiment of experience in all four subjects. Even Maya cannot shake someone who is experienced, and this is why today Bapdada wants to see all of you children as embodiments of experience. There is a difference between hearing and thinking about it, and in being an embodiment of experience. Whatever you think, whatever self-respect you want to stabilize yourself in, become stable in being the embodiment of that experience. No one can shake that experience, because why can't that experience be shaken according to what Baba's saying today? Because it is self-respect. It's who you are. You've become the form of that. It's not just a belief. You've become the form of that self-respect. When you are an embodiment of self-respect and are stable in the experience of self-respect, there cannot be any body consciousness there. For instance, when there is darkness, if you switch on the light, the darkness automatically disappears. You don't have to make any effort to remove the darkness or chase it away. Similarly, when you're seated on your seat of self-respect, the switch of experience is on, so no type of body consciousness can exist there. It's really wonderful what Baba's saying, isn't it? Because it's almost like sometimes we battle to deal with our body consciousness, but Baba's taken the opposite way. Sit in your self-respect and automatically you're in the place where you can't be influenced by body consciousness. There are different types of body consciousness, and the Father has also given you different types of self-respect. You know about self-respect, you make effort for it, but there is a difference between trying to make effort for that experience and being an embodiment of that experience. That is why you have to labor. So now, according to the time, and at the time of you accomplishing your aim of becoming equal to the Father, Bap Dada doesn't like, for the third time, seeing us labor, seeing you labor. Let each one of you check yourself. Do I have a karma yogi life? A question to ask. Do I bring my gyan, my yoga into my daily life? Do I have a karma yogi life? A life is natural and for all time. It is not just sometimes. Become an embodiment of experience. Have you accomplished the aim that you have of a yogi life and of being an image of experience? You yourself should constantly experience the sparkling light on your forehead. You yourself should be stable in that experience. Be an embodiment of remembrance. Not one who has to have remembrance, but one who is an embodiment of remembrance, a natural consequence. The proof of whether you are an embodiment of remembrance or not is that when you are an embodiment of the experience of that remembrance, you will experience yourself to have that power while carrying out any task. So if I'm really the embodiment of remembrance, whatever I do, I have that strength to manage it, to deal with it, to practice it, to apply. The tasks may vary, but your stage of being an embodiment of experience should not vary. So today, Bapdada saw why you have to labor. Baba saw that you are number-wise according to your effort in becoming an embodiment of experience. Bapdada has deep love in his heart for every child, and he therefore cannot bear to see anyone he loves having to labor. He's making quite a point of this today, isn't he? You know, sometimes I think that it's such a sanskara of religion and devotion to labor. It's sort of hard work. And then we just translate that really this life is a lot of hard work. But Baba says it should be no labor, it should be completely natural when I'm in that right state of consciousness, in my self-esteem, self-respect. No matter what subject it is in which you may have to labor or use the word sometimes, the reason for it is that you lack being an embodiment of experience. You are an effort maker, but you have not become an embodiment. Experience being an embodiment of the experience of self-respect in all four subjects in a second, so that body consciousness cannot come close to you. Just as darkness cannot remain in the face of light, you don't have to chase it away. It is natural that where there is darkness, there is little or no light. So the greatest authority that is remembered is that of experience. Even if thousands of people try to change an experience, they cannot do that. Once I've had an experience, I know it. Even if other people try to change it, I know I've had it. It's the power of experience. All of you must have experienced sugar. Anyone here not experienced sugar? It's funny, isn't it? Baba's going on a tangent, he suddenly takes a right turn. This is an interesting example. All of you must have experienced sugar and know that it is sweet. Even if thousands of people tried to change your opinion, would they be able to do that? In any subject, whether knowledge, yoga, dharana or service, out of any of the four, if you have to labor in any of them to finish something, to achieve success in the service you do, to transform your nature in the subject of dharana, to remain unshakable in yoga, to experience a yogi life, if you have to labor or use the word sometimes, it means that you have not become an image of experience in that subject. An experience is not sometimes, it is one's natural nature. So, did you hear what the reason is for having to labor? When you experience being seated on the seat of experience, when you experience being an embodiment of a blessing, do you have to labor at that time? It is a natural experience. This is why, according to the time now, everything is going to happen suddenly. It is not going to tell you in advance before it happens. There are games of the elements of nature taking place suddenly. It has begun now. New things happen. Suddenly there was an earthquake and hundreds of thousands of people died in a short time. Did they know whether they would be alive or not the next day? Was that the earthquake in Bhuj? Remember they had an earthquake in Western India and huge number of people died. I think it was around this time. This is 2010. Hmm? I think Bhuj was earlier, yeah. But anyway, Baba's using these examples. Hmm? Could have been Nepal, yeah. Could. Yeah. Anyway, Baba's saying many such accidents have begun to take place suddenly in different places. Collectively at the same time, a ticket is being clipped for many. So at such a time, is your ticket to leave the body being clipped? Like, at such a time, are you ever ready? You will not say that you are still making effort, will you? Please, earthquake, stop. I've got to make a bit more effort before you come. You will not say that you are still making effort, will you? Ever ready means that whatever thought you have of a blessing or self-respect, you become an embodiment of that. And this is why Bap Dada is drawing your attention to this. Are you able to make any blessing fruitful and become experienced in the form of that blessing or self-respect? You will definitely have to become that. You may say, I am trying. If you are going to try, do that from now, because this practice over a long period of time will help at that time. Do not be an effort maker, but become experienced, because the Almighty Authority has given all of you the authority of experience. In the same way, you are experienced in body consciousness. Do you have to remember your body consciousness and think that I am so-and-so? It's amazing. We're just so natural to be a body. And Bob was saying it should be so natural to have that self-respect, be in experience that self-respect. That I am so-and-so. You have been given names for your bodies. And so that is body consciousness, is it not? I am so-and-so. Even if thousands of people tell you that you are not that, and that you are this, and they use a different name for you, would you believe them? Would you forget your name? The awareness of the body connected with the name that has been given to you at birth has become firm and natural. If someone is calling someone with the same name as yours, he is not calling you, but calling someone with the same name as yours. As soon as you hear your name, your attention would go there, because you would think that that person was calling you. This body consciousness has become so firm. Similarly, be just as firm in being soul conscious, in maintaining your self-respect, and in being a master of yourself. It's really wonderful, isn't it? Just completely natural, so that when the scenes of drama happen, suddenly I'm in that space. I don't have to try to make effort. I'm already the embodiment. I'm present in that space, so I can manage. I'll read that sentence again. Similarly, be just as firm in being soul conscious, in sustaining your self-respect, and in being a master of yourself. You say that your life has changed. So what have you changed? From body consciousness, you have changed to self-respect, and then you have to become a master of yourself. So check. Have I become an embodiment of this knowledge? Or have I become one who listens to this knowledge and relates it to others? Gyan means this knowledge. The practical form of this knowledge is said to be knowledge is light, knowledge is might. To be an embodiment of this knowledge means that whatever actions you perform, what does it mean to be the embodiment of this knowledge in a practical way? When you perform actions, when you're the karma yogi. To be an embodiment of this knowledge means that whatever actions you perform, they will be filled with light and might, and they will be accurate. This is known as being an embodiment of this knowledge. Do not become one who just speaks this knowledge, but become an embodiment of this knowledge. To be an embodiment of yoga means to be a conqueror of the physical organs. Be a master of oneself over all your physical organs. This is known as yoga, that is, a life that is yukti-yukt. If you are an embodiment of this knowledge in yoga, you will then automatically be able to imbibe every virtue. Where there is this knowledge in yoga and you are yogyukt, the imbibing of virtues takes place automatically. It's wonderful, isn't it? Service will take place at every moment automatically. So just having the virtues, your nature is just automatically serving. According to the time, you may serve with your mind, with words, with actions, with love in your relationships. Service will continue to take place continuously. Service also takes place in relationships and connections. For instance, in the Brahmin family, so Baba's saying, it becoming the embodiment of service in a natural way. In the Brahmin family, if a brother or sister is a little sad, a little dull in his or her effort, and is under the influence of a sanskara, you would give zeal and enthusiasm, cooperation or love to that soul, to that contact soul. That is the charity of service that you will accumulate in your account. It is an act of charity to uplift someone who has fallen down. To serve your relations and contacts is the duty of a true server. It should not be that service is only the service that you receive or is given to you. Let service itself continue to take place automatically with your thoughts, words, deeds, relationships, and connections. Many times, Bapdada has seen that in connection with others, some children see that someone's nature or sanskara is not what it should be. However, to have thoughts such as, this one is like that anyway, he is never going to change, and it is a waste of time to serve this one. Is it right to have such a thought? Is it right? You believe that you are those who will make the elements sato pradhan, and that you will change the elements. However, that one is a human soul, one who calls himself a Brahman, but is influenced by his sanskaras. You have issued a challenge to change the sanskaras of the elements, but that one is a being, a soul, someone who has a relationship with you. So a true server would definitely have good wishes to earn the charity of serving him. To say this one is like that anyway, he can never change. How would you describe that? If we put the label on somebody in this way, and so we just avoid them. As Baba's saying then, there's that true service, I will uplift whoever. Cursing them, writing them off, cursing them, judging. So he can never change. These are not good wishes. In fact, these are subtle feelings of dislike. If I label somebody, oh, they're always like that, they're never going to change. So I avoid actually reaching out to support. And it needs a lot of love and humility, doesn't it, to reach out to someone who may be a little bit difficult, because when people are going through difficult times, their nature is not so easy, but to reach out and be kind. If you think in your life, if you've been going through a little bit of a period and someone has been genuinely kind and compassionate, you will remember them forever. They will have a memorial in your heart for your entire life. Just one little act of love or kindness can go such a long way. It's incredible. So Baba's describing, when we label each other, that these are subtle feelings of dislike. Nevertheless, that one is your brother or sister, and at least, says my Baba, a true server would earn in their account of charity by having good wishes for even those who have not served him. Do not push those who have fallen even further down. Uplift them, give them your cooperation. This is known as being a true server, a charitable soul. So check yourself. Do I have this much zeal and enthusiasm for doing service? This is known as being an authority of experience. So Bapdada now wants you to become an image of experience and to use your authority of experience. Those who will become embodiments of experience in all four subjects and will use the authority of experience, those who will remove any weakness, those who will pay this much attention to themselves, Raise your hands. Often when that happens and we go, we know how Baba doesn't like that. We get a lot of exercise listening to Avyak Murlis, don't we? Sometimes it's like the whole Murli you're doing. He is. Well, it's wonderful, isn't it? You know, some Avyak Murlis, Baba's so interactive, isn't he? He's really interacting. So you are raising the hand of your mind, are you not? Not your physical hand, but the hand of your mind. Raise it. Raise the hand of your mind, because Bap Dada will ask for the results on Shivratri. No one's sanskara of weakness should reduce the good wishes in your mind. I'll repeat that. No one's sanskara of weakness should reduce the good wishes in your mind. That one sanskara is slack, but it is powerful enough to reduce your good wishes. It's an amazing way of looking at it, isn't it? Yeah. It's their weakness or their nature, but it's powerful enough that I allow it to affect me so that I don't have that love or good wishes. What did Father Brahma not see? What did he not do? While being responsible, he departed in the end after giving everyone the teaching of the three worlds. The three words. I've got much more light this morning, but still. I think one thing I'll do when I return to Australia is have an eye checkup. Something I've learned in South Africa. So, while being responsible, he departed in the end after giving everyone the teaching, the three words of good wishes and pure feelings. You remember those, do you not? You remember the three words, do you not? He himself became avyakt with the stage of being incorporeal, egoless, and viceless. He did not give anyone the feeling that he was going through the suffering of karma. Did anyone understand that his suffering of karma was now finishing? What happened? He became avyakt. Father Brahma demonstrated the blessing of being angelic. Follow Father Brahma. Since you say, my Baba, what does the Father say? You are my children. It is necessary to have such good wishes for each other in the family. Do not look at anyone's nature. The Father knows that there is a conflict of natures. However, any conflict of natures should not finish your love. It should not finish the relationship. So we have differences, but why should that change our relationship? Because don't you find that's the great lesson of life? We're all so different. And to be able to maintain love and good wishes with total variety of personalities shows my spirituality. So I'll read that again. However, any conflict of natures should not finish your love. It should not finish the relationship. It is not right that it would not let the task. It is not right that it would not let the task be successful. This is a family. Which family is it? This family, which family is it? It is God's family, Prabhu Parivar. Let there not be a lack of love here due to any reason. Is it like that? Is love lacking? Let there definitely be love, that is, good wishes. No matter what someone is like, this is God's family. So family means love. If there is no love in this family, it is not a family. This godly family only exists at this one time. No one except God can have such a huge family. So check, because even this causes an obstacle in your efforts. Only when you become free from obstacles will you become experienced and make others experienced with the authority of your experience. Acha. Seeing all the children everywhere, Bap Dada is pleased and is singing the song. What's his favorite song? Wah, children, wah. In the heart of every child is the Father, and in the heart of the Father is every child. Seeing this huge family, the residents of Madhaban, there is happiness. Wah, Madhaban, wah. Madhaban is anyway the asylum for everyone. And this is why all of you come running to Madhaban. Now you quickly have to fulfill the Father's hopes. You definitely have to become embodiments of experience in all four subjects. Seeing the children from this land and from everywhere abroad sitting here, Bap Dada is pleased. Everyone is so pleased to see all of this. These facilities and science are progressing at this time. There are many new inventions in the world, but they are facilities. Why are they invented? But they are facilities for your benefit. Yeah. So much of this technology that's being created is, I was saying somewhere recently, there's one brother in Australia who's doing a PhD, he's been doing it for years, in hypersonics. It's aircraft that go 40 times the speed of sound, like Vimans. Because I can remember when we would first meet Baba would often say to the Australians, Australia will just be picnic spots in the golden age. You know, you'll fly down there for a picnic and come back on the same day. And we thought, oh, you know, because your mind is limited to time and space of this. But these Vimans will go at absolutely phenomenal speeds. The tech will be able to go anywhere in the world. You know, all of you could come across to Australia for Murli and breakfast one day and return to South Africa for lunch. Maybe not. There are many new inventions in the world, but they are facilities for your benefit. They are inventing many good inventions. While being far away, you are together. So congratulations to the scientists for having invented the facilities. Please accept lots and lots of love and remembrance from the heart to all you children in this land and abroad, and in particular, namaste to such special children. The blessing. May you become the form of an angel, and with the light of this knowledge, make the path of effort easy and clear. Both light and might are clearly visible in the life of an angel. However, in order to become the form of light and might, you need to have churning power and the power to tolerate. For your mind, you need to have churning power, and for your words and actions, you need to imbibe the power of tolerance. The words you speak and the actions you perform will then be according to these. When you have both these powers, the path of effort will become easy and clear for everyone. Slogan: to speak wastefully is to disturb many others. And the Avyak signal. You children are the masters of matter, and so you have to continue to remain happy while seeing these games of matter. Even if matter creates upheaval or shows you beautiful games, in both situations, souls who are the masters of matter will observe those scenes as detached observers and enjoy them and will not be afraid. This is why Bapdada is especially inspiring you to practice remaining unshakable and immovable on your seat of the stage of a detached observer with your tapasya. Om Shanti. Who sometimes feels every Sunday, every day this thing, every Sunday, so much in that Murli, I've really got to study it. And the whole week goes by, and then the next Sunday, so much. It's so rich, isn't it? There's so much, and I find Bapdada has this incredible way of saying something simple, but so deep at the same time. And in one sentence, there's so much richness. And, even in the way Baba says, children, this is God's family, Even to have the vision on someone they won't change is a form of dislike. And it almost automatically makes you look at yourself, doesn't it? It's like a little mirror, I find, where do I sometimes fall into that pattern of sort of labeling and judging? And it's the Avyakt Murlis, the Sakar Murlis. Daddy Janki described the Sakar Murlis as the cake and the Avyakt Murlis as the icing on the cake. Because it's sort of, you have to do your own work to do a lot of the churning with the Sakar Murli, but the Avyakt Murli Baba is speaking in a sort of a more, I was going to say logical fashion, but sequential, sort of takes up themes and unpacks themes. So beautiful. Becoming an authority of experience, nothing can shake you. And in a way, our life, isn't it? We can know the theory in a week, but how long does it take to absorb the theory, so I become the form of the theory. It's not just a belief. And that's our journey, I feel, to convert what I know into what I feel, to take the knowledge from my head and become the form of the knowledge. This is really, really becoming the essence of everything. So it's a very lovely Murli. I just thought I might just share a little bit of news, because Baba said we're a big family and we have family members in all corners of the planet. And I probably spend most of my time in the Asia Pacific region, which is amazing. 60% of the world's population is in that region. It's incredible, the size of the region. And I think some of us have heard a little bit about Myanmar, Burma. But I went there last year, and it was really an incredible experience. I said to Bridge Moanbai, of all the countries, I used to go and have breakfast with him most days, and in the last few years I really got to know him quite well. It's an extraordinary soul. And I said, Bridge Moanbai, of all the countries you've been in the world, which really touched you most? Straight away he said Myanmar. And I think the same thing happened for me, because I arrived in Yangon, which is the capital. And as you know, there's a raging civil war. They call it the Forgotten War. And actually, when I was going, people were saying to me, you shouldn't be going to Myanmar. There's... So I felt quite comfortable, but I did ask Bridge Moanbai and Gentiban, should I be going? They said, yes, go. The centre in Yangon is on the 10th floor of a building, and they have a power blackout for 20 hours of the day. So if you're not going during those 4 hours when the lift is working, you get a lot of exercise going to class. So everyone arrives in Murli, having to climb all those. But they just take it in their stride. But what was amazing, we drove right up the country for 3.5 hours, and they've got a retreat centre. And the amazing thing there is, when I was there, there's 22 Kumaris and one brother living there. And these Kumaris built a hall, and you think, themselves. But it takes 2,000 people. I mean, that's a huge hall. I wouldn't say it's the best construction I've ever seen. It was sort of... But honestly, I was so touched by being there. They build their own buildings, they grow their own vegetables, they milk their own cows, they cook food on open fires. And I said, you guys are totally ready for the final scenes of the drama. And all of these, they sleep just in 2 rooms. They all sleep together, 10 or 15 in a room together. It's just amazing, the camaraderie and the feeling. But they were a bit worried about me being there because I look a bit different. Because everywhere you're stopped by the army, and they've all got guns and things like that. And at night time, you have to, as we were driving up, you have to turn on the lights down the windows because they're all standing there with their guns, and if they think you're the rebels or whatever. And every time we got to a checkpoint, the soldiers were either on their phones or they never noticed me. And the sisters sort of thought there was some divine intervention because they'd seen, what's this person doing here? Why is he here? But it was absolutely amazing just to see how they really work together. And we had a retreat for 150 people. And on one side there was a few brothers like that. On the other side, some mothers. In the middle, there was like 100 Kumaris. And for some reason, it's just the biggest group. I don't think I've ever seen any country. They're all young sisters. And they're really sort of motivated, all in their 20s and 30s. And we went up to the north of the country called Mandalay, which is a beautiful city in the north of Burma. And we inaugurated a centre there. 3 months later, there was a big earthquake. Do you remember a big earthquake in Bangkok and the building? It actually, the origin was Mandalay. And Baba's centre was cracked. So we just inaugurated, and it wasn't livable. In fact, 90% of the buildings in the city weren't livable. And so everyone's living on the streets and not proper sanitation and all this sort of thing. And you know what the sisters have been doing? They cook all night and get thousands of food packages. They have a big truck, a huge truck, and they put them in, and then they drive 5 hours from 2 a.m. up to, it's 5 hours away from the retreat centre, and they go along the streets giving. Just amazing, really. It was so, you can see I was so moved by their commitment. It was just incredible to see. But they also took me to a Buddhist temple in Mandalay, and there was a statue of Buddha there, and it had a python on its head, a real one, and 2 pythons beside this. And, this has become very popular because everyone wants to come and see the pythons. And anyway, while I was there, they got the pythons. Some man came, picked them up, put them in the water. These are huge pythons, 10 foot long or longer. They swam around, had a bath. And then the pythons themselves wriggled back. I watched, and he wriggled up on top of Buddha and took his place again. And they've become, this is the nature of devotion. They go and worship the pythons because they're there protecting Buddha's statue. It's a very, very powerful Buddhist country. And I don't know whether you remember, but maybe 15 years ago, once Baba said, you've been serving the Muslims and serving the Christians. You should do more service of the Buddhist branch. And most of the Brahmins in Myanmar at the moment are from a Hindu background. But anyway, it was just so incredibly touching to be there. And last year I also spent a few weeks in China, and we have maybe 8 or 9 places in China. But as you could imagine, they have to be completely under the radar, the way they operate in China. But they've got a retreat center up in outside of Beijing, about an hour. It's literally 15 minutes from the Great Wall of China. And I've been there quite a few times. When we first went, there was just a little simple building. It's been built. It's a beautiful retreat center. And what's so special is they can go there and be Brahmins, because they have to be so incognito. I was saying somewhere in the city when I first went there, they had a center, and they had a Shiv Baba on the front door, which was about that big, maybe 3.5 millimeters. The smallest Shiv Baba in the world, I think. Because, they have to be really, really careful. And actually, Madam Chen was telling me only in the last few weeks, a Buddhist temple 100 meters from our retreat center was shut down recently. The government will just, anything that it sees, it will, that is not according to their system, they shut it down so easily. But it's a really beautiful retreat center, and it's just wonderful that Baba's children can go there. But from Beijing, I took a train about 400 kilometers. They have fast trains in China. And really, you would not believe China if you went there. Honestly, it's so much more modern than the whole world. it's incredible to see. And it's only in the last sort of 30, 40, 50 years. It's amazing. Everything's clean, everything runs. Most things are done on, solar power and things. It's so well organized. But I went to a place called Chufu, which is where Confucius was born. And they did a program in the Chufu, the Confucius Institute there, which is quite famous in the country. And there's a new sister called Ling. And she was a fashion model, an international fashion model. I think based in Paris and that sort of thing. And she's come back and she's got 35,000 younger women in this organization. And she teaches a gentle sort of spirituality. She's an amazing person, very, very humble. And she's sort of Baba's child now, with 35,000 women that are in this organization. So she invited me to run a little retreat and in this Confucius Institute. And there was probably about 50 or 60 people. And when I came in, they were all wearing traditional Chinese clothes. And it was amazing to see. I really saw the beauty of that old culture. And she had taught them that we meditate with our eyes open. So I walked in and I sat up the front and they're all sitting there with their eyes open, taking drishti. So they were playing music, so I started giving drishti and they kept playing the music. And, usually when the music stops and the music kept going, so I kept going and it went on for half an hour. And then I stopped and I said to Madam Ling, as she's called, I said, "Are you waiting for me or am I waiting for you?" She said, "We're waiting for you." But you know how drama is so amazing, because in that drishti, the vibrations, it was incredible because they took drishti. She told them about the soul. And you could see even tears were there and things like that. And I really realized how much is said through silence, how much is conveyed through vibrations. It was really moving. They were extremely lovely. And I went really all around the country to Guangzhou and Hangzhou and Fushan. And Baba has little places everywhere, all these little incognito places. But I was in Hangzhou, and Hangzhou is a very old, ancient city around a big lake in central China. Beautiful place. And we went to an art gallery to meet a sister. And she was actually the head of China Foreign Affairs. And she's Baba's child. It's absolutely amazing. And talking to her was Baba, 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 Baba. And she had this big businessman with her. And in China, they're businessmen are big businessmen. And she said, "Charlie, give him drishti." Oh, okay. I mean, but she said, no one knows that I'm a BK, because that's, for all the reasons we know. But I just thought Baba is so amazing how he touches people and he works through people. Because when I was in Vietnam too, there's a sister who's coming close to Baba as well. And she's a very, very famous actress in the country and actually represents the government in dealing with different faith traditions. She's quite, very influential, and she's sort of, wouldn't say she's a BK, but she's also. And it's almost like Baba touches people in high places that at a time when it's needed, these people will be able to support. And while I was in China this time, I went to a law firm, 60, 80 young lawyers, very well educated, and they were so interested in meditation. I found this, if there's not much offering of spirituality, and I think the younger generation, they've tasted the material stuff, they're now really into looking for something more meaningful in life. It's a really fascinating place, and the way Baba is doing service there is, quite amazing. And also I go most years these days to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has 3,000 or 4,000 BKs. I think it's the third biggest country. 155 centres in Sri Lanka. And incredible family. And we had, when I first went this last time, they started really, as you know, there was a civil war there for such a long time, which was really, in a way, the Tamils in the north from a Hindu background and the locals who are more from a Buddhist background, the Sri Lankans, the Sinhalese. And it really fractured the country on so many levels. And so most of Baba's children are Tamils. When the war finished, the government invited the Brahma Kumaris to teach the course in the refugee camps of Tamils. They taught thousands at a time. And out of those thousands, hundreds became BKs, literally hundreds. And the stories they tell you. One sister living in the centre, I was meeting all the centrewasis, she lifted up her sari and she had a wooden leg. And she told me that when she was 15, she was conscripted into the army and sent to the front lines after a few weeks, had her leg blown off. And so many of them have stories like that. But the enthusiasm in the family is absolutely incredible. And the stories they tell are, I could spend another hour or two here. But we've got more important things to do. But actually, I also went to a centre on the west coast called Puttalam. And it's mainly a Muslim town. And I was really amazed that some people would come to class they'd come to the centre in full black, like the full thing. And when they hop inside, they take off their black and they've got their kurta pajama on. And there was a mum and 3 young girls, her own daughters and a son, and they come every day. And there's a group of them. I just thought it's amazing, isn't it, how we adjust to whatever is required. Once in Malaysia, it's against the law for Muslims to come to a non-Muslim religious institution. And we had a centre in one suburb, and right over the road was a Muslim family who were BKs. But every morning they'd hop in their car and drive 15 kilometres to another centre because they thought if the neighbours see them going to the centre, mainly they would get the centre in trouble. They didn't really worry about themselves, would they get the centre in trouble. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it, how Baba's children adapt in different corners of the world. And in Batikalo, which is on the east coast, we have a centre which has a hall bigger than this hall. And I had a day retreat there. There was 700 people for a day retreat, BKs. And within about an hour, they have 50 centres within about an hour of this place. And they also tell amazing stories. One of the war, but the tsunami hit them. Remember there was the tsunami in Sri Lanka many years ago? And there's 2 brothers that have built this amazing exhibition of Baba's knowledge, because these 2 brothers, in the tsunami, their wives and children were washed away, never seen again. And so to do something for their families, they built this exhibition centre. But they're really wonderful, really amazing centres, and the amount they do is really extraordinary. So, and I'm just sort of reminding myself of places. I went to Bhutan also last year. When Didi Nirmala left the body, one sister came up to me and she said, "I'm Meena from Bhutan." And I used to keep connection with Didi Nirmala. Well, I sort of knew that. And she said, now Didi's gone. I want to talk to you, she said. So I thought, Bhutan's right on India. So I said to Gentiben, shouldn't Bhutan be connected to India? And then she asked British Mountain, we asked her, where do you want to be connected? And she said, we'd prefer to be connected with Asia zone because we're Buddhist and there's a lot of Buddhist countries because it's an incredibly Buddhist country. But it's absolutely amazing because the king, it's a Buddhist kingdom, there's still a king there. And Shivani Ben went, I asked her to go because they watch her on television. And she went and she met, I think, the king and the queen when she went. And it's like a Buddhist kingdom, and the king mandates they have to wear traditional clothes. So everyone wears the old traditional clothes, and houses have to be built in the old traditional style. Inside they've got modern kitchens, bathrooms, everything. It's all modern, but on the outside, so they've really preserved their culture. Yeah, it's really beautiful how they've done it. And we have maybe 30, 40 Brahmins there, but they're scattered all over the country. And one day they said, we'll go for a picnic. So we drove up to 4,000 meters and we sat and we had a picnic. I hopped out of the car and I felt dizzy, like it was sort of so high. And we could see the Himalayas maybe, right across. It was absolutely amazing. But on the way there we stopped and we met some monks, some Buddhist monks. And they were old, really old men. And they live in a monastery 2 hours walk up a mountain. You can't drive there. And they said there's hundreds of monks still living in that monastery. Hundreds are still there. I found it probably one of the most Paka Buddhist countries. But it's amazing, isn't it, how Baba's just moving into each of these little corners of the world. Really quite incredible. And Indonesia too is an incredible country, 4th biggest population in the world. And Indonesia is 16,000 islands. It's an amazing country, so many different ethnic groups and so on. And only recently, just in the last year, we opened a centre in Sumatra. And it's 60 million people, one island, 60 million. And we hadn't had a centre there. And it's already flourishing. A couple of sisters from Bali went to open the centre. But in Bali, we must have about 10 centres. And amazing family in Bali. They're extremely lovely family. And each year we go and do our call of time there. Prativa came. It's an amazing place, isn't it? It's Hinduism, but it's quite different from Indian Hinduism in a way. But there's a big Brahmin family there, and now there's another big island off Borneo called Kalimantan. And a brother has built a new centre there, and we're going to open a new centre in Kalimantan, so another big island now. And that's the original Hindus, because India, the Indian diaspora, the Hindus went right down through, Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam, right down to Indonesia, because Indonesia was originally Hindu, and then it became Buddhist, and now it's Muslim, but it's all sort of mixed together. And in their parliament, they have a minister for Muslims, a minister for Christians, a minister for Hindus and Buddhists. They actually have a minister because they, in their constitution, they want all the religions to work together. It's actually a really wonderful family there too, and they're really trying to grow the service around the country at the moment. But anyway, we did do a little program in Papua New Guinea in January, which was really interesting. And it was a call of time. We've been there a few times actually, and so they've invited us back to do some more service. Does everyone know where Papua New Guinea is? It's a geography lesson. And it's just above Australia. Yeah, it's only a few hours flight north of Australia. So what I'm just seeing is how Baba is sort of moving into all these different places. We've also been doing service in East Timor, which was a Portuguese colony. And so we're sort of working in all these different areas. We've opened a center in Taiwan. And even we have a sister now living there permanently doing service. The problem in Taiwan is language. You know, not many English speakers there, so we really need... Anyone here speak Chinese? Anyone like to go to Taiwan? Anyway, somehow Baba finds instruments in all of these places. Anyway, I could go on and on. And I'm going to go on a little bit more. We're also starting in Laos, which is sort of north of Cambodia. We have a few centers in Cambodia. You know, the centers in Vietnam are really flourishing. They've got a beautiful new retreat center in Vietnam. Now I went there. Sleeps about 100 people. But Laos is... a country of only 4 or 5 million people, but we're also starting a little centre or some service in Laos at the moment as well. So all of Baba's getting into all these different corners. Anyway, just a little snapshot. So, 2 minutes of yoga, okay. Off a borg, okay.
सच्चा एक नाम है तेरा, सच्चा एक नाम है तेरा, बाकी दुनिया झूठी, झूठे सारे खेल तमाशे में ही दुनिया डूबी, झूठे सारे खेल तमाशे में ही दुनिया डूबी, दुनिया से मन जब हारा तू ही तब बना सहारा, सारी दुनिया रूठी, सच्चा एक नाम है तेरा, बाकी दुनिया झूठी, सच्चा एक नाम है तेरा, बाकी दुनिया झूठी। का जंगल दुनिया तू है फुलवारी, तू ही एक सच्चा दाता दुनिया व्यापारी, तूने मेरा हाथ थाम कर राह जो दिखाई, तपते मन ने तुझसे बाबा शीतलता पाई, शीतलता पाई, सच्चा एक साथ है तेरा, बाकी झूठे साथी, मन की सच्ची प्रीत तुझी से, बाकी प्रीत झूठी, मन की सच्ची प्रीत तुझी से, बाकी प्रीत झूठी, दुनिया से मन जब हारा तू ही तब बना सहारा, सारी दुनिया रूठी, सच्चा एक नाम है तेरा, बाकी दुनिया झूठी। सच्चा एक नाम है तेरा, बाकी दुनिया झूठी। मेरे मन के अंधियारे में ज्योत है जलाए, तेरे ज्ञान किरणों से ही रोशनी है आई। बंजर मन की धरती पर रिमझिम है छाई, सूखी थी मन की बगिया फिर से खिल आई, फिर से खिल आई। मन से मन की तुमने बाबा बांधी डोर टूटी, मन की सच्ची प्रीत तुझी से बाकी प्रीत झूठी। मन की सच्ची प्रीत तुझी से बाकी प्रीत झूठी। दुनिया से मन जब हारा, तू ही तब बना सहारा, सारी दुनिया रूठी। सच्चा एक नाम है तेरा, बाकी दुनिया झूठी। सच्चा एक नाम है तेरा, बाकी दुनिया झूठी।